In this part, we want to work on CSS reset, but before that, let me show you something. See, when we make a change in these files, for example, if we hit space, this will open our output box, and it says that it has been washed, our SAS file. It shows a message so that we notice that our SAS file has been washed, but we wanted to do this in the background and then not show it to us each time. See, if I close it and hit space again, each time it watches it and shows the box. In order not to show this to us, open Settings, go to Extensions, Live SAS Compiler section. Down here, there is an option here. For output windows on, we select None and close it. Now, if we go back and hit space, we will see that it shows the success message, but it no longer opens the output box, which is bothersome. Every time it watches it, it shows the success message, but it won't open the output box. All right, let's turn to CSS reset. Please note that in browsers, if we look at this part, you'll see that our body has a margin of 8 pixels, while we have not given it a margin. If you pay attention to these parts, it shows by an orange color that it has a margin of 8 pixels. Where did this margin come from? It says that user agent style sheet is giving it a margin of 8 pixels and is blocking its display. What is doing this? This is the browser's doing. The browser has some default styles. Here you can see Chrome. You are looking at the defaults of the Chrome browser. For example, it gives a block to body display and gives it a margin of 8 pixels. Or there are other styles here. It gives Q tags and inline display. These exist in the browser by default. However, we don't want any margins or paddings to exist in advance for none of our HTML elements. That's why we create a new file named reset. Here I add a file like before. We use SAS partials. I will create a file named reset and I will go to main. Above everything else, it has to be above everything so that it resets all styles. Now, for the import of the reset file, we enter star. Bear in mind that the star symbol means all of the HTML tags. That is, all of the HTML tags we will have a margin of 0 and padding of 0. This is now compiled above everything else and affects all tags. And if we go back here, please note that the style has been accepted and we don't have any margins here anymore. For other tags that we also have, there is no margin or padding anymore. For example, if I insert a UL tag here, see UL tag, LI, for example, item. If I go back, see in the item section, our UL by default has some margins and paddings. That is, if I uncheck these, see our UL has a top margin and a bottom margin. Margin block is start of 1 EM and margin block end of 1 EM. But using the margin and padding of 0 here, we completely remove these. This is called CSS reset. We reset them. Another thing that we have is box sizing. This is also very important. In box sizing, see, I'm going to write something. AP tag, for example, Cheetah Academy. Now, I go here. This is Cheetah Academy. Our Cheetah Academy, like this, is in a P tag. It doesn't have a margin or a padding because we have already reset it. Let's give it a background. We go to our main file down here. As a test, let's say our P tags font size be, for example, 50 pixels. Like this, it will become 50 pixels. If we give it a background, for example, a background of this color, it gets a background. And if we inline block its display, As you can see, we will inline block it. We give it a width of 400 pixels. Note that its width is now exactly 400 pixels, as it is written here, 400 pixels. You can see that it is 400 pixels by 58 pixels. Now, if I give it a border, a 10 pixel solid red border, see, it got this 10 pixel solid red border, as you can see. What is its width now? It's 420 pixels. Now look at this part here, it's 420 pixels. It was itself 400 pixels, but 10 pixels were added to its left side and 10 to its right, and is now 420 pixels. That is, the border is added to its width. Instead of using its width, it added to it. It was 400 and this added 20 to it, and we got 420. In order to prevent this, which is very inconvenient and bothers us and causes our codes to be buggy, we wanted to take 20 pixels from the 400 pixels and give it to the border. And what it should use the red for, the 380 pixels, use it as the width. So let's go here. There is a feature called box sizing border box. If we use it, see what happens. Its width will change to 380 pixels and is no longer 400, and its borders will each be 10 pixels. 2 times 10 equals 20, and added to the original 380 will give us 400 pixels. So now in total, the width of p tag is 400 and is not 420. If I change this to 20, that is 20 on each side, how much will it be? It will be 40, and its width will be 360. As you can see, the content inside is now 360, but the borders are 40 pixels. If I remove this, see what will happen. It added 40 to the 400 and now is 440. Now the width is 440. So we use this box sizing border box so that whenever we set the width of anything, it remains the same in case we give it a border or something like that. So I will copy this style here and delete it because it was only as a test. I will also delete its p tag. I will go here and apply it to everything. I'll say that for all of it, it should be box sizing border box like this. However, this is the CSS file. I'll go to the reset file and type in box sizing border box. And from now on, it will apply to everything, as you can see here. All of our elements will now have box sizing border box, and their width by adding a border will no longer increase. The border will be the same, will have the same width, and use a portion which was given to the box and decrease the width of the content. And this was CSS reset.